Kia ora rā koutou, te whānau whānui, tēnei te mihi kia koutou e huri maina ki tēnei wā whakawhiti kōrero. Te Haukainga podcast here in te whare e tapu o Ngāpuhi at Waitangi. And we got some of our whanaunga here as a guest, or one of our whanaunga.
Oh.
He tani whanō te moana nui. Josiah, tēnā koe bro, talofa, and welcome.
Kia ora, kia ora. Oh, tēnā rau atu koe matua.
Yeah, good to have you here. Kia ora, bro. You're a children's commissioner.
Yes.
And tell me about, actually, I've spoken to a few of you guys before, so I know what it's about. I know what you do. I'm so pleased that you guys are sitting in these chairs because the rights of children is huge. And they need to know their rights too. But from a Pacific point of view, how's the mahi going? Is it different?
Yeah. Well, maybe, aroha mai,
Yeah.
e te atua nau te kororia, te mana whenua o tēnā rohi, tēnā koe, hunga mate ki tunga mate haere tunga ora, ko vai te maunga, ko vai lima te awa, ko Aotearoa whitawhāwhiti tokuaka, no o te pō te ahau, ke o te tahi no ana, o ranga tangata, o ranga whānau toku mahi, ko Josiah Tualamali'i toku ingoa. Yeah, malo lesu fua matua. The work is going well. The work is different, as you've acknowledged, Tōkana. It's being Pasifika here in Aotearoa, some of it's not 100% clear where our mokopuna fit, and that's what they say. On one hand, it's the special wā that we have with you is our whanaunga here.
That's right.
And that is so precious to us, and half of our babies are now also whānau Māori.
Yeah.
So it's a double.
How do you mean half? Like, are you talking about intermarriage?
Yui.
Yeah. I've noticed that. Bro, this is a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Our families are getting back together.
Yeah, mate anō.
Yeah.
Because we whakapapa, we're on that list back to Pacific.
That's right.
Yeah.
A few generations later, reconnects.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the whakapapa finds a way, eh? And so that is bringing some of those mokopuna have questions about their Pasifika identity because they're not growing up on their whenua in the Pacific. And then how the New Zealand borders as New Zealand, as opposed to Aotearoa's approach and how we live and are across Te Moana Nui a Kiwa. There's questions and leaders in our world know how to kōrero about that, but some of the wider Aotearoa communities don't understand our wā. And so when we're here on a day like today, when we're talking about te tiriti o Waitangi, there's different understandings about where Pacific fits. Some say it's that ancestral connection which is enduring, which is where our connection and the well-being of our whānau. And others say it's alongside te tiriti, and then some say it's all of that together. So I guess, that's quite a...
Our relationship's ancient.
Yeah.
It's, one of the things that saddens me, obviously, is when I see statistics that put Māori, and they're correctly researched, that put Māori towards the bottom of the pile, but then quite often, unfortunately, sometimes our Pasifika whānau are even further down the track.
Yes.
Not further down the track, further down the bottom,
Yeah.
And that saddens me too.
Part of it comes back to Hitori, the lack of understanding about New Zealand's impacts in the Pacific.
Yeah.
So we go back to 1901 and 1902 when New Zealand annexed the Cook Islands, and the Cook Island communities who already obviously had whakapapa with whānau Māori. It came under New Zealand. And then Tokelau come along the way later. And then us as Samoans in the First World War, we became part of New Zealand in a form. My grandma is only just potentially getting her New Zealand citizenship recently with the bill that's gone through Parliament. So I guess the impact of New Zealand in the Pacific affecting our mokopuna in the Pacific who have never had their New Zealand identity
acknowledged.
So there's that component as well. Let alone the ancestral wā, which New Zealand doesn't have any contribution over. That's just ours as whanaunga.
I mean, many, in saying that, many Pacifica people have done well in this country.
Absolutely.
Done well in a modern European sense.
Yeah.
You know, nice homes, good education, all that stuff, which is fantastic. But there's still that taha Pasifika that needs to be nurtured, as well.
Absolutely.
And the churches play a big role in that,
Yeah, absolutely. It's our sports grounds.
Yeah.
It's our churches.
Wharekareke, yeah.
Yep. It's the places where our young people, and sometimes more and more, it's the youth groups or some of the places away from the church. It's where their reo, where their Kana Samoa, where their languages are being practiced at the polyfests.
Yeah.
And that's always great, where, and especially in Auckland where we're together.
Yeah.
It is whānau where they're performing together. But yeah, I think the future of Taha Pasifika is us as the younger Pasifika communities being able to know our connection more deeply with you as our tōkana on your whenua.
Yeah.
And so knowing how to stand together. I mean, we've had it in the past where, you know, the Polynesian Panthers and Ngā Tamatoa, and we've had lots of great solidarities. And it's just, this is the next wave of it, eh?
Yeah. And it's exciting. The other thing I've noticed too, growing up in West Auckland, and most of my mates are Pākehā, Māori, Pasifika, Tonga, well, you know, everything, And we just had this weld, you know, with our Pasifika whānau. But one thing I've noticed with a lot of my Pasifika whānau is their respect for tangata whenua. So I heard this phrase from an Aboriginal elder who came here, and he says, I promise to walk lightly on your land. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. And then we get our mate David Tua, who just beats the crap out of somebody, and then they stick a microphone in his face, and the first words that come out of his mouth, he kōrero ko tō tātou reo o tēnei whenua. So there's a real respect towards us. Is that because they understand the concept of tangata whenua?
I think there's mixed answers, but one of them, from where I live in Ōtautahi, in Christchurch, when some of those Samoan families arrived in the 60s, the Smith family is one of them. It was the whānau Māori who loved them more than they were loved by some of the other communities around. And there was less explaining to do. Just be you, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, we know the feeling. To be slightly alienated,
And so that love, and then there's this phenomenal kaumātua, Anaru Smith, who he's Samoan, but he's leading the kaumātua ukulele groups and things for, you know, all whakapapa in Christchurch. But he's a Samoan matua who's been kind of adopted into whānau Māori and Ōtautahi. And so I think it's those things that the love that's been shown that we as younger ones know about. And we're kind of like, well, our elders have shown us, and we just got to keep that vast strong, keep that love up there.
Your dreams for your mahi, what do you know, you're a young Pacific man in a place where you can create or be a part of change. You know, what are your dreams and aspirations?
Well, the first thing is I want all communities in Aotearoa to understand New Zealand's responsibilities in the Pacific. Often it's talked about in an aid relationship, or we're going around like our foreign minister or whoever's out there doing such and such, but it's not about that. It's about whanaungatanga. And so, and then that will help uplift those feelings inside some of our mokopuna around their own mana. They actually, as you said before, this is the Pacific. So the first thing is that we know where we are in the world, and that we bring more of the whakaaro and the ngafa, the genealogies and the wisdoms from this place. And allow those solutions and those approaches to be the ones that are brought to the fore, and for others who don't understand that, to give more space, to take more time to then understand
and listen. You know, I was in Tonga, and I was staying with some people, and one of the things that this beautiful man said to me, he says, you know, Pure, we believe that Pacific issues can only be solved on the whāriki, on the mat, you know, to sit on that, in that space, in that tapu space of Pacifica, the marae, whatever. And those you know, we have this kōrero by Māori for Māori. And to me, that's another example of it's not about blocking other people out. It's about going, no, we got this.
Yeah.
We still need your help, but we got this. Eh? Yeah. What are your thoughts about traditions being valid solutions to modern problems?
Oh, absolutely they are. I mean, we saw it through COVID.
Yeah.
And where we live in Ōtautahi, we lost no one in our Pacific community.
Yeah.
I know, and tragically that wasn't the same for all of our Pacific communities and whānau Māori across Aotearoa, but in Canterbury and Waitangi we lost no one.
Yeah.
And that was because we relied on our community.
Yeah.
And the hospital staff and the others in those leadership roles, the plan might have been slightly different, but our people turned up and said, you've got to give us more space.
Yeah.
You've got to make leva. You've got to give us the opportunity for our people to trust the systems and to trust this work. It's got to be us leading it.
That's right.
And we'll do it well. And we did. We saved and protected our whakapapa.
Yeah. You know, I turned the TV on every day because, you know, I had a bit of time on my hands in lockdown. and there was a lot of whānau out there doing the work, but there was a whole heap of Māori and Pasifika, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think there was a time when more of Aotearoa got to see the contribution of our people in another way, outside the sports, outside winning the awards.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our people who have been the ones generationally who've built the roads, who have worked the difficult jobs. You know, we had the Dawn-Rays apology a couple of years ago when Aotearoa, in New Zealand rather than Aotearoa, New Zealand sort of forgot about the goodness that had been shared and decided to, you know, put that there. But our people make a big difference. And for people who don't understand, we just need you to open your hearts and take some more time.
Sure, bro. You know, some of our Pasifika whānau actually fought in the battalion.
Yes.
The Māori battalion.
Absolutely they did.
You know, and lost their lives and fought under that flag.
Yeah.
I remember Josiah went to Hawaii, as you do.
Yeah, very nice.
As you do. And I get there, and this Hawaiian fella with a big cowboy hat gives me a hongi, right? And I never forgot it. And we went away, and he was our host for about a week. And I said, by the way, thank you for giving me the hongi when you greeted me. That made me feel really good, and you made the effort. And he goes, no, we used to do that here.
Yeah.
We call it pa'ihu.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And then we had this whole conversation, and he remembered, and he says, Pure, remember, the Pacific Ocean, it's what keeps us together. It's not what splits us apart.
That's right.
And you get this beautiful kōrero from our Pasifika whānau that makes me belong to something even bigger than Te Ao Māori, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And those doors are open for our tamariki, eh? Our Pasifika tamariki.
They are. It's like the tuna that, you know, I was with Ngāti Wheke just the weekend just gone down in Whakaropo in Littleton Harbour.
I know that.
Yep, Rapaki Marae down there. And so the tuna, they just pulled the first lot of tuna out to give for this hakari, and the tuna obviously go up to Tonga and come back, and then the long story short is, you know, we've always had those natural those creatures that go between and
those life-giving creatures, actually.
That's right.
Yeah, you must see in your role that a lot of our whānau, I'm talking about all of us, brother, suffer from a poverty of spirit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And going back to Whakaropo again, just because it's connected, that's where there was none of the poverty of spirit for me when I was there, because two of our kaumatua are buried in the whenua of Whakaropo, and going back to the pioneer...
Kaumatua Hamoa?
Well, one kaumatua Hamoa, one kaumatua o Niue, Private Kulupa o Niue. So you talk about the 150 who came from Niue to serve in the Pioneer Battalion. One is Private Kulupa's buried in Whakaropo. And then Ivan Skelton, Tamao Samoa, is buried on Otamahua on Quail Island. So when you talk about how we be uplifted with our whanaunga, with our elders being buried from, you know, the early 1900s on their whenua.
Yeah.
You know, that's, we if we find those places and we keep connected in those places, we can avoid that poverty of spirit.
Yeah.
And instead see a way of being here that's, we'll maybe always have that wondering about where's our true home, because we're connected in multiple places.
Yeah. And if
we can find it.
If you actually focus down on finding where your true place is, you're going to actually find that it's a lot easier to find it than you thought. I think as a Māori, as people within our wider whānau no Hāmoa, no Niue. You know, Niue, I was up there 6 months ago. You know, and when I walk into these spaces as tangata whenua no konei, I walk in there straight away, I feel at home.
Yeah, that's right. Hey. It's our wā. It's our ancestral wā. And that's what we need every mokopuna to experience. And that for mokopuna Māori, to be able to go to the Pacific and see the wider story. That's right. I mean, I think, isn't it incredible what's being done with the whales, with Paikea and with His Late Majesty, and going up there with the House of Ariki and the other royal families, and you know, just saying, hey, there's the Western laws, and then there's our authority, and we're going to declare that these are legal people, and we're going to do these things. And that's what we need our elders across the region to come more together and do those things regionally as a way of showing us mokopuna what we can do together.
And what we're talking about, even though we've sort of not zooming in on your job as a commissioner, a children's commissioner, all this stuff is incredibly relevant to the bigger picture that we dream of, you know, and for our Pākehā whānau. I work in a predominantly Pākehā world, and my Pākehā whānau who have bothered to step in, so it's my job to make it a safe space to step into, none of them have regretted it. And that's what's happened. So when we talk about doorways to other places, those doorways aren't locked to our Pākehā whānau as well,
That's right. And I'm Pākehā too. We've got my Pākehā whānau, and one of them was one of the officers in the Pioneer Māori Battalion. And so, we kind of, we have to make it work here in Aotearoa, don't we? And that's the beauty of you as our tōkana, allowing all of us to be here on your whenua. But there's a lot of work for us to do for those of us who are non-Māori, including us as your whānau, as your whanaunga. Exactly. We have to be honourable in that, and Te Tiriti has got to be at the centre of our thinking. And like someone today was asking me what Pacific thoughts are, and Pacific thoughts are important, but actually it was like, well, what's a Māori mokopuna want? Because this is today for me is actually about listening to them. And I know what our Pacific young people were saying. And they're not saying things that are necessarily different, but we've got to make sure that we know in our relationship when it's our time to be completely beside, when we're slightly behind, when we're, you know, and it's just as you go treading lightly, what you were saying before.
I want to close with a little story that is, I'm going to apologise first, because you know, we were known as horis, Pākehā were known as honkies, and islanders were known as coconuts.
Absolutely,
Anyway, this beautiful Rarotongan fella, it's not a joke, it's a story. This beautiful Rarotongan went over to Hokianga, and he was at a hui, I think it was at a mate, and this kuia said, kia ora boy, you know what our kuia, kia ora boy, oh, kia ora whaia, where are you from? I'm actually from Rarotonga. And she goes, oh, are you a coconut? And they both laughed, and she says, yes, whaia, but remember, kupe was a coconut. And I thought, how beautiful is that? This place wasn't discovered by Māori, it was discovered by our whānau from the Pacific. Nō reira, I rungi e rā kōrero whanaungatanga, e mihi ana kia koe te rangatira. Tēnā koe kia kaha, ko tātou tātou.
Maro lava le sufo, whaftaitele lava, tēnā rau atu koe, whakawhetau kia koe.
Tēnā koe, bro.